Hi guys, hope everyone's well. Trisha here, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to make got a notion for making ginger loaf bread, and this one is definitely very tasty and a hit, and it's so easy to make. So first thing I'm going to do is put my pot on top of the scales and make sure it's turned on and it's turned back to 0, and we're going to put in here 4 ounces of butter straight in. That's 4 ounces of butter or margarine. I always use margarine, so whatever you prefer. 2 ounces of brown sugar is going in, just on top of that sugar. And I want to tare it back so it goes back to 0. And we're going to add in 4 ounces of golden syrup. This one was crystallized, so I've just had it sitting in a tub of warm water. I'll take it back to runny state for you. And just want 4 ounces of this. Just keep an eye on your measurement when you're doing this. That's 3. I've got another bottle there anyway, so 3.5. Just open this new bottle. If this crystallizes on you, just heat it up. You could put it, well, I wouldn't put it in the microwave, I'd be afraid of it blowing up on me. But just put it in a jug of warm water and it'll come back to its runny state. So that's 4 ounces of golden syrup, 4 ounces of black treacle or molasses, and as you turn that on and tear it back, always make sure it's back to 0 or you'll be lost with your measurements. Okay, so we'll just pour this in till it gets to 4 ounces. Two. Getting near there. That's 370. Another little bit. There we go. That's 5 ounces. Or 4 ounces, sorry. And I'm not going to waste that, so a little bit in the tin will be going in as well. Just off the lid. And what we're going to do with this is to put it on. I've got this little camping stove I always use to make life handy, and put it on just at a low heat until this all the butter and sugar and everything dissolves. And you don't want this to boil, you just want it to all that margarine to dissolve, and the sugar to dissolve. And it'll take it a couple of minutes just to break down into a runny state. Okay. And get a plate to set that on. I don't want it all over my worktop. So while that's heating through, just keep an eye on it. You don't want it to bubble or anything, you just want it to get running. So I'll keep the temperature down. And whilst that's doing that, I've got quarter pint of milk, and I'm going to add 2 eggs to it. 2 large eggs. I just like to break them on the plate first to make sure they're okay. And into the milk. These are chickens' hen's eggs for outside. And they're producing well for us, so. And don't throw your shells away. Let these, rinse these out and let them dry and blend them down. That's good calcium for your plants. Okay, so you just want to make sure the yolk's broke and give them a bit of a whisk up. And you can see our butter or margarine and sugar has melted, so you say you don't want to boil this, so you need to melt it. We're actually going to mix it all in the pot. So once that's melted, you can't feel the sugar anymore. Just take it off the heat and just be careful with your worktops. This is granite, so it won't do it any harm. Okay, so we're just going to let that sit now to cool down a little bit. You don't want to be putting the eggs straight in there. Alright, that's that ready to go. And our dry ingredients are 8 ounces of self-raising flour. I only have plain flour, so I've added 3 level teaspoons of baking powder. I've got 3 teaspoons of ginger powder, and I put the recipe calls for half a teaspoon of mixed spice, but we're big on mixed spice and ginger in this house, so I put a full one in, and that's just going on top of the flour. And there's been a little bit of moisture in that bowl, which is not good. We'll just get all that. Pop that all in. Okay, so you can choose to sieve this or do what I do. Just get a small whisk and whisk it all through. It'll do the same thing for you. Just mixing all the spices together. And this recipe is so simple and tasty. Okay, that should be enough. So everything's just mixed well there. I'm just going to let this cool off a little bit more. And it's nice and runny. Okay, so at this stage I'm going to, because this comes together so quickly, I'm going to preheat this little oven. I don't like running the big oven if it's only a small item I'm cooking, so I use this little camping stove. You've seen me with this before. So I'm going to set it, it's 170 fan you bake this one at, but I'm going to set this at between 185 and 190 because it's not a fan oven. And if I just turn that on, it's going to preheat. Okay. Okay, I think that's cooled down enough now. And remember, it wasn't boiled anyway, so it should be fine. So it's just a matter of putting your eggs in your milk and put in all your flour mixture. And you're just going to keep stirring and stirring at this until it all comes together. Can you believe how easy that is for something that's going to be so tasty? You might think that looks like a glibby mess, but you have to keep stirring until all the flour's broke up. And I'll just show you. You probably think that's not going to, it's not going to separate, but just keep stirring it. I promise it'll be fine. Okay, and if you think there's bits of flour in there that's not going to break up for you, then just go in with a spatula or scraper and just run it along the bottom of the pot. And that'll smooth it all out for you. So I'm just pushing down on the bottom. There we go. Easy peasy. So I've got a loaf tin here. These aren't going in the oven. I just use those wee clips to hold the paper in place. And it's just a matter of pouring your batter in. Make sure you get everything out of the pot into your pan. You don't want to leave that goodness behind. Okay. And just give it a wee tap. Just check any air bubbles. Possibility of being air bubbles in there is slim, but don't forget to take, if you use these, take these off, these plastic. So that's what it looks like. Just like a runny batter. Okay. Okay, so my oven's probably nice and warm there now, so if I open it, it'll go off. I can feel the heat there. So this is going straight in. And what I'm going to do is just to set a bit of tin foil on the top. Just roughly over the top. And close her up. And I'm going to set a timer for 1 hour. Actually, I'm going to set it for 50 minutes. Okay, so I'll check this after 50 minutes and I'll bring you back at that stage. Okay guys, so I'm just going to check this. It's been in here for 55 minutes, and if I put a probe down into it, and it's coming out quite dry, but I can still hear a slight hissing sound. I just took the foil off there because I was afraid of it rising too high and the foil is sticking on it, but you see it's stuck a little bit. Not to worry about that. So I'll just turn the foil over again and put the foil on again. It's just this little oven's unpredictable, and I'm going to leave it for another, I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. The wee timer just bleeped there, so take the tin foil off again and check it again. And it's nice and springy on top. But if you put a probe in and it comes out clean or dry, then you're good to go. And that's come out dry. So I'm going to call that good. And I can hear it sizzling. It's still sizzling there, so it's going to get another 5 minutes. If you hear like a sizzle, if you put your ear near your cake and you can hear a sizzle noise, it means there's still moisture in the middle, and it'll need another Give it another 5 minutes and then we'll check it again. I can smell this now, so I'm going to just check it again. Take this foil off. And that hissing noise has stopped and it's nice and springy on the top. And just to make sure, put the probe in and it's coming out clean. Oh, it's hot. Okay, so that's what our ginger loaf cake looks like. And that's just a little bit that got stuck on top of the foil, but that doesn't make any difference to me. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it here on top of the cooker in its pan and all until it cools down a bit before I transfer it onto a wire rack. And that's it out. And it smells absolutely gorgeous. I'll just leave it on the paper for now. But oh my goodness, the smell of that is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to let it cool down and then we'll cut a bit off and have a bit. And typically this would be eaten with just sliced with a good amount of butter or margarine spread on it with a big mug of tea. Alright, I'll see you shortly when this cools down, guys. I'm just going to cut a slice off this ginger loaf. And wow, it smells gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And it's spongy and moist. And just made myself a big cup of tea. Tea bag still in. That's how we like our tea here. Strong. Oh, it's just right. And I'm going to try this with just some utterly butterly on it. It's margarine, but it tastes like butter. And just give a wee generous spread. That is good. Better than the Jamaica cake you buy here. Put as much ginger or as much spice into it as you want. The recipe calls for half a teaspoon, but I put a full teaspoon in. We love all those sort of spices, so you gotta give this recipe a try. It's so easy, and the results are beautiful ginger loaf. I choose to call it ginger loaf cake because it's basically a cake in a loaf tin, and I can't eat too much of this. Don't eat a lot of sugar, but once in a while it's not gonna hurt. Alright guys, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my tea and what's left of this slice. And I'll have to put it away or I'll be having another slice. So, give this recipe a try. You won't be disappointed, I promise. And I'll see you all in my next video. Alright, bye for now. Cheers. Oh, Jodie, you can't have this, but it's absolutely gorgeous.